This is my 2015 Dodge Grand Caravan STX 3.2L V6. And in this video, I'll be showing you how to replace a thermostat on a Dodge Caravan 5th generation or a Chrysler Town and Country. Hey guys, welcome to Daddicated. My name is Andy. I like to fix stuff, build stuff, and remodel stuff on this channel. If you enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button and let's begin. Usually, if your thermostat goes bad, your check engine light goes on, and you should get a P0128 thermostat rationality test error. I took my Grand Caravan to Autozone, and this is the report that they gave me and told me that replacing the thermostat usually does the trick. So here we go. Step 1. Buy a replacement thermostat on Amazon by clicking the link in the description below, or you can pick one up at your local auto store. It's also a good idea to buy a gallon of coolant while you're at it. Step 2. You will need a 13mm socket head in order to remove this nut on the power steering container. Then unclip these 3 clips that hold the air intake manifold cover. Lift up the power steering container and move it out of the way. Next, lift up the air intake cover and remove the air filter. It's a good idea to get a new filter while you're doing this. Step 3. Remove the bottom of the air filter manifold. You will need to give a nice jerk and pulling it up, since there will be 3 pins that are holding it down. This way, you'll have a better access to the thermostat from the side. It's a good idea to use some sort of a stick to hold the top of the manifold out of your way while you're working on this. Step 4. Before removing these 2 nuts and this pipe clamp, I have to remove this plastic piece under the car so that the coolant has somewhere to leak out to. I'll be using my clip removal tool and a 10mm socket to remove this plastic cover. The cover is held by 2 10mm nuts, one on the far side and one on the near side. There's also 2 clips, one in the front and one in the middle, that you will need to remove. Once the clips and the nuts are removed, you should be able to just pull it off like this. Here's what it looks like. Step 5. Use a pan or a bucket and place it under the car in the same location where the thermostat is. Once you remove the thermostat, it will leak some coolant on the floor. So I took some old towels and laid them out as well. In addition, it's a good idea to wear some gloves before removing the thermostat. Step 6. Take a 10mm socket with a short extension and remove these 2 nuts. I ended up using a swivel head joint since I didn't have short enough extension, but this worked out just fine. Once the nuts are removed, move the thermostat back and forth and gently pull it towards you. You will see the coolant will start pouring out right away as soon as you do this. Here's what the mess looks like under the car. And here's how much coolant I managed to save from my driveway. Step 7. Use some vice grips or other means to remove the clamp on the hose. Note, you will struggle a little bit until you move the clamp far down enough, and then this thermostat can be removed freely from the hose. Once you remove the old thermostat out of the hose, install the new one and place the clamp back while it's in the vice grip. Next, place the new thermostat back in place, insert the old bolts, and tighten them as necessary. Step 8. Install the bottom of the air intake manifold. You will need to align this hole and these pins with the matching mates on the frame. It takes a little bit of finesse, but you will feel it drop down once you get it back into place. Next, place the power steering back on the bolt and insert the air intake filter. Use the 3 latches to secure the top back on. Place the nut back on to secure the power steering container. Step 9. Install the plastic cover back on the bottom with the 2 bolts and the 2 clips. Step 10. Find this cooling cap and remove it. You can use a regular funnel for this, or you can buy this nice one on Amazon, which will make it a breeze to fill in the coolant. My buddy told me about it while I was already in the middle of this process, but I strongly recommend using it. I'll have links in the description below. Slowly begin to fill the radiator with the coolant all the way to the top. Be careful not to overflow and make a big mess. Oh, shit. When you fill the system with some coolant, you will need to turn this knob with a Phillips head screwdriver to bleed out some air. When you turn it, you will hear and see the bubbles coming out along with the coolant. You will need to do this on and off multiple times while filling the system all the way up. Next, fill the coolant reservoir to the max line, which is located right here. Once all the coolant is filled, start the car and let it run for 5 to 10 minutes. Again, use the Phillips head screwdriver and bleed the air out again. That's it. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.